Hello there from the Silicon Swamp. I am Noam Siegel. Thank you very much for being here. I have partnered with Genway to bring AI research to the masses and maybe to you and to your team. If you've been following along with these how-to videos, we started by crafting our project with AI, determining things like why we're doing the project in the first place, what questions we want to ask, who will be asking those questions. Then we went on to set up our project and determine all of the different settings that work for us. And then we just went through an interview where you watched an AI agent, Genway's AI agent, interview me about exercise and training trends for 2025. We are now fast forwarding to the analysis stage to talk about how you can analyze data with Genway. So welcome to the overview page for the exercise and training trends for 2025 project. And what you can see here, first and foremost, is what was the project's objective? We wanted to gain insights into interviewees' training goals for 2025, popular exercise routines, how they integrate technology into their fitness. Underneath the objective, we have our project statistics. How many interviews happened? How many of them were completed? How many were partial? How did people engage with the interviews? What was the average length of an interviews? And even how many people chose to extend an interview and talk for more than we initially allotted because they were having fun or they wanted to share something extra. Now, I'm going to share with you the typical analysis stages I go through. Keep in mind that this is not a deep dive into analysis, and my goal here is not to share every single insight from the project, but rather to show you my workflow within this analysis part of the research. So I usually begin with the project insights. And what you can see here, two things. First of all, Genway provides us with a project summary, which we can also copy to our clipboards and then paste in other documents that we might be using. This is true, by the way, for every insight, tag, piece of analysis. It's very easy to move these things into a report or any format you wish. So we start with the project summary, and we can see that people had a variety of goals, and diet and nutrition is playing a role, and technology is playing a role, and we see all of these things. And we start to get an idea about what people care about right now when it comes to their exercise and training. But then once we want to go beyond the summary and we've internalized some of the main things that are coming up, if we go down this same page, we have our top insights. And here I start to notice that some insights are surprising to me, perhaps make me more curious. Maybe they were unexpected. For example, one insight I notice is that people are making dietary adjustments and focusing on their protein intake as a key focus. I know that sugar used to be the enemy. I know that carbs used to be the enemy. Is it the case that they're not the enemy anymore and now protein is our friend? I don't know. But if I click on this top insight, I can read more about it, first of all, and see that a significant number of interviewees are planning to adjust their diets by increasing protein intake, and they shared some stuff about that. And if I want to understand just initially some more detail about these top insights and where they're coming from, I can click on this where it says this is based on 47 interview responses. And if I click on these responses, I can go through each interview. I can see when it happened. I can see if it was talking mode or typing mode. I can see a quote. And if I want to, if a quote seems interesting around how many eggs someone is consuming, what sort of supplements they're taking, I can click on Open Interview, and the system will take me to the specific interview and even the specific quote and context that relates to protein. And I can see different tags that have to do with this quote. I can read the quote itself. I can copy it. I can download it. I can share it. I can do whatever I want with that interview. But at this point, let's go back to our analysis, take another final look at these top insights. You can see all sorts of things here. But since we've been through the example of protein intake, I'll move on. Another thing I like to do is to go to the theme analysis right here. Theme analysis is very interesting. Genway is able to provide us with the main themes that came out of the research. And here up top, we see that protein intake is a theme. Now, interestingly, I created the protein intake theme, and that's because the system will give you a particular set of themes based on its models, but just like in many other cases in this analysis, you can make changes. So let's check out protein intake as an example. When I click on this theme, I see that there are 19 related topics within this theme. I see that these questions around protein were asked in 93% of the interviews. So not in every single interview this topic came up, but way more than enough for me for the analysis. There's also the concept of refreshing. You can refresh your themes, you can refresh your project. So we can see that this was refreshed 14 days ago. And again, we can download these as a PDF or copy paste individual quotes or whatever we want. We can also sort themes by relevancy, by how many times a question was asked in an interview, or by things like the topic count, so how many subtopics within this theme came up. And we can see that within protein, all sorts of topics came up around protein shakes, muscle building, a vegetable focus, a fruit focus, cardio exercise, all sorts of stuff. If I click on, let's say, diet adjustments as an example, I can go down and have a look-see at all of the quotes related to this subtopic. So I can see the question that the system asked. I can see all of the quotes. I can play the quotes, play the transcript audio. I can see when this happened. I can see all sorts of tags. All of the information is right here for me. And based on this, again, I can add my own themes or add a topic manually. I can do all sorts of stuff if I think that there's more to explore here that the model hasn't yet done. So that is theme analysis in a nutshell. We have a bunch of themes here. There are several pages of themes, fitness tools, personal fitness goals, accessibility and inclusivity in fitness options, all sorts of stuff here. But we won't go through all of it. Instead, I want to move on to the third phase of my analysis, for which I like to use tags. So within the analysis, if I do a quick midpoint recap, I begin by looking at the top level project insights, and then I move on from there to look at top level themes and the subtopics within them. And at that point, I'm deep into quotes, I'm deep into synthesis or co-synthesis with Genway, I suppose. And then if I want to dive even deeper into something like diet, into something like exercise, into something like GLP medications, which have become quite popular these days, I can dive into those tags and see what people are talking about. And as always, as I noted before, I can also generate new tags or new tag groups. So what you can see here is that I have an option to auto tag interviews, basically auto tag each and every single one of the interviews Genway conducted based on the tags I already have. Or I can create new tag groups or new tags, whatever I need to do to figure out the important topics I want to take a look at. If I click on a tag like protein, I can see that 165 interview responses were tagged with protein. And when I look at a response, I not only see a quote and what mode we were in and when this happened, I can also hover over and see the reason why this particular quote was tagged with protein. And if I want to understand more context around that, I can again click on open interview, and Genway will take me not just to the interview, but to the specific point in the interview when this person started talking about their dietary approach to fitness goals. And I can play back the entire interview or just that part of the interview I'm interested in. There are a few other things that I can look at here. Every interview has an identifier, the country where the person was from, the status of the interview, device type it was conducted on. Each interview has its own interview summary, which you can check out, or you can simply go through the transcript and see exactly what was said by both Alex or Rebecca, the two AI agents that Genway currently has, and the participants themselves. In addition, you can look at two types of analysis. These are more general statistics around either tags and how often certain tags came up in the interview process, or you can look at general statistics around the interviews, such as people's preferred interview mode, device type, interview length, interview locations. This is really a general overview. You might want to start with this, or you might not peek at this at all. I did want to cover the three main stages, at least for me, which are the project level insights, the theme analysis, and then finally the tag analysis. And again, once you're done with each step of the analysis, you can decide exactly what you want to export to your platform of choice and get to the work of socializing and activating your insights. I think that's about it for today. I hope you learned a little bit more about how to analyze data with Genway. As always, if you want to start your own project on Genway, go to genway.ai, start your free trial, check it out, and let me know if you could use any extra help with getting things going. Always here to help you. Cheers. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.